right now.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Sorry, I was zoned. I'm sorry. Thanks. Oh my goodness.
We are live.
All right, good morning. We will call the June 25th Commission meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking time to be here. I want to remind everybody, please sign in at the back of the room. We just need that for the record. And if you come up to the podium, please state and spell your name for the record as well. Last name. All right, kicking off this morning. Is there any public comment on any subjects not on the agenda? Is there any public comment?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if we are on the agenda or not.
No,
You're not.
Comment.
Public comment, come on up.
Okay, yeah. So, thank you for having us. I'm Aaron Weber. I am the District Ranger for the Forest Service here in Townsend.
Can you spell your last name?
I'm sorry, yes. So it's AARONWEBBER, Aaron Weber.
I'm Cody Chrismore, CRISMORE, Fire Management Officer for the Townsend Ranger District.
Yeah, so thank you for having us. We just wanted to come and give a brief update of a few things that are happening in the Forest Service that would be important for the county to know. And then specifically, we wanted to talk about potential sites for a fire camp if and when we have a local fire, and kind of discuss what we've done in the past and see if there's any, just have a general discussion with that. So maybe I'll go first, and Cody, if you want to cover the fire camps. So as you probably know, we have had a timber sale, the Wood Duck timber sale, and it was litigated. And last month, the litigants tried to get a preliminary injunction, and the judge ruled in our favor, so the sale continues as planned. And my understanding was they continued last week, and they were about 60% done with that, with the timber that they were going to harvest before that preliminary injunction happened, and so they're expecting to be done by fall. That's their hope. They have 3 years to do it, but they're hoping to get it done sooner than later. The Diamond City section of the sale is apparently starting this last week. They were going to start doing the temporary road construction, and I don't have any details as to what the timeline is that they wanted to have it done, but they have up to 3 years, I believe. So that's what's going on with timber sales in the county. Some road maintenance updates and some exciting news. The Crow Creek Road from the forest boundary up until the trailhead to Crow Creek Falls. They're working on that maintenance right now. They're expecting to have it finished by the middle of July. We have a road closure that's in place until the end of September, but it was never our intention to actually close it that entire time. That was just for the contractor to have that leeway. And in the contract, they had 30 days to start, and I believe they started either the 12th or 13th of June, so we're expecting to have that done by the middle of July.
And you said that, I'm sorry, you said that was from the forest
the forest boundary on from the Raidersburg side, Crow Creek,
okay,
where that gate is, up until the trailhead at Crow Creek Falls. That whole road, I think it's 17 or 18 miles, something like that. Anyway, it's a terrible road, and so we are so excited that it's actually happening. Like it's a dream come true.
Awesome.
But we've had a lot of comments of people like that are frustrated because they can't get to the campsite, or they're elk hunting and think that it's going to be going on during their archery hunt, but that's not the case. It's going to be set July. So just if you guys hear anything, that's what's happening. When the contractor is done with the Crow Creek Road, they are going to do the Indian Creek Road from the boundary up until the Eagle Guard Station. So we're getting some awesome news about road maintenance, because those roads were terrible. Like, people will call in and they're like, hey, can I drive my truck up there? I'm like, yeah, you could, but if it was my truck, I wouldn't do it. So anyway, we're excited to have that maintenance done.
Aaron, sorry to interrupt, will you let us know when the Crow Creek has reopened?
I certainly
you do
will.
a great job
Yep.
emailing. So
I will
appreciate
let you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll
And
get
you-
that on our website.
Great.
And you said Indian Creek Road was from where to where?
The boundary until the Eagle Guard Station, the cabin there. Yeah, so that was the maintenance, the road maintenance, and now, yeah, fire. Cody, you want to take that?
Yep, so I just wanted to take a chance to open up a discussion on what it would take for us in the event that we have a large fire, that we would have to support an incident management team, what it would take in the process to go about utilizing county property for those teams. My understanding, it was before my time here, that in the past the fairgrounds has been used. There was a time last year where I had worked with Brittany trying to figure out if we needed to stand up a camp where we could do that at. And that ended up playing out. We had an agreement with the state of Montana on some state property already in place, so we just used that one from one of the previous fires, the Horse Gulch fire. So yeah, just wanting to get some clarification on what that communication route would look like.
Okay, Aaron, thank you. I know we use the fairgrounds as our site. As far as the details, how about I call you or email you, and we can dive into that.
Yep.
And then if you didn't know, Brittany has moved.
Yep.
So the sheriff's office is taking supervision of DES, but we don't have the position currently filled. So Deputy Reynolds is kind of providing that in the interim right now. So he is also someone we can bring into the conversation.
Okay.
So he will be your contact technically for DES stuff. No. But yeah, if you have your information or if you have a card.
Yeah, I don't have a card.
I have it.
You do have it?
I do.
Okay, thank you. I'll get it from Debbie and we'll reach out and give you the details on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
may I ask?
Please.
Or may I include, in the past, now I can't think of the fire, but the big one we had.
Deep Creek, Woods Creek.
Yeah,
Woods Creek.
Creek, thank you. The fairgrounds was used. Also, there's talk about the county owns a lot of property, basically between the Rod and Gun Club and the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's can be available.
Yeah.
Conversation needs to happen, but that is county property. And at the time, it was not used, but that was in the conversation. So, yeah, happy to help if we need to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we will reach out and
Okay.
let you know. We'll follow up
Appreciate it.
with you. Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
One thing I failed to mention on my notes, Duck Creek Pass and Cabin Gulch, we in the last 2 weeks have graded both of those roads as well. So we're driving a little bit smoother on Forest Service land now. So just an FYI.
Duck Creek and which one?
Duck Creek and Cabin Gulch.
Cabin Gulch.
Yeah. Okay. Unless there's any questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you coming. All right, is there any other public comment for any items not on the agenda? Any other comment? Okay. All right, we will start off with discussion decision Ruby Taylor, Public Health Director, Task Order 26-07-6-11-005-0 between Montana, DPHHS, and Broadwater County for public health and emergency preparedness, also known as FEP.
Hello, Ruby Taylor, Taylor, Director of Public Health. I am just here to get our task order signed for our FEP grant. This is the last year of the master contract for this one, so I just wanted to put that on your radar. So next year we'll be updating the entire master contract, which is for the 5-year period. I don't know what that looks like, but it'll be a fun learning experience for all of us.
Ruby, if you will, should we be planning financially? Like, is that?
I don't think it should change our financials any.
Okay.
It's just, it would depend on what the administration has planned for the FEP program in general. So at this time, FEP has told us not to worry, but that can change. So we're just gonna play it by ear. But it's our typical funding of the $30,893. This grant is a lot of work, but I do think it's worth it. It has us looking at all of our emergency preparedness plans in public health and trying to encourage community partnerships and collaboration between other facilities like the hospital and St. Peter's and us and the commission, all of that, and get together and do. Like next year, we've got a tabletop exercise planned, and we're planning on doing a few more things on that front. And so it is a lot of work, but it's super helpful, and I really enjoy it, like the premise of it. So,
Right.
and it's a good chunk of change.
It is a good chunk of change. It's helpful. I know we do a lot with FEP, and you work with DES on this.
Yes, the DES I was working with on updating our plans just because I don't have background in that for the most part. But since DES is waiting to be filled, I did talk to state too about our plans because we do need to update a few of them. Not that they're bad plans, they just have a lot of like erroneous information in them, like statistical data from the 2018 when they were last updated, like that sort of thing that doesn't need to be in our plans. And like our current communicable disease plan is 55 pages long. I'm going to tell you right now, no one is sitting down in an emergency situation and reading through 55 pages of nonsense to figure out what to do. So I need to shorten that up and get it to a more usable format. But state FEP did say that they would help me with that. So
Okay.
I've got the resources. I just need to have the time, which is fun
Yes.
because reading and writing plans is super fun.
All right. Thank you. Do either of you have questions?
I do not either.
Okay. Is there a motion? Yeah. Is there a motion?
I would move to approve the task order 2607-611-0050 for $30,893 for public health.
I will second that.
All right. There's been a motion and a second to approve task order 2607-611-0050 between Montana DPHHS and Broadwater County for public health, emergency preparedness. Is there any public comment?
I would entertain that.
Come up.
Craig Beets, B-I-E-T-Z. I would entertain that you approve the motion. Ruby does an excellent job here with the county. I know I've used the county, and a lot of senior citizens that I know have come in and used it as well. Excellent resource, and I think it's be in the county's best interest to fund it for Ruby.
This is not a paid sponsorship.
Thank you, Mr. Beets.
You're welcome. A good plug always helps.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. It's
It
a
is-
DocuSign. You've
I know.
got it.
I've got
Well
it
done.
marked.
And
I
just
will
to
sign
be,
that.
oh, sorry,
Yep.
just to be clear, this is from through the state,
Yes.
the funds.
Yes.
You're fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Next on the agenda, we have Bill Jarocki for an update and discussion. He's our county administrative officer. He's discussing the Broadwater County fiscal year 26 budget. Hi, Bill. He is on Teams, by the way.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is Bill Jarocki, last name spelled Jarocki. I'm County Administrative Officer, and I want to take a few minutes this morning to bring you up to date on the fiscal year 26 budget development. We'll have more detail next week. I'm trying to hold myself back because, you know, I nerd out on this kind of stuff. And give you a quick overview of how things look. First, I want to thank Debbie Kelly, Michelle Beebe for their excellent work in assisting me in getting all of the information that we have to get together to put the budget in place. I was working on updating personnel information, personnel cost information due to change in workers' comp rates. It affected every single budget. And got that done. And what I'm going to put on the screen right now is will help give you a little bit of an overview. So you don't have to look at me, you can look at the screen. You may not be able to see it. I don't know how small it is on that big screen. But
Too small.
so let me just highlight a few things. There are 23 detailed budgets. Our budgets are individually produced by department. They have a revenue side and expenditure side to them. I'll give you an idea of what that looks like. Here's the budget for the clerk and recorder's office. The left-hand side of the spreadsheet for the clerk's office is the revenue side of the budget workbook. The right-hand side is the expenditure side of the workbook. We have 5 years of detailed budget to actual performance on every line item in the budget, especially on the expense side. And in the middle of this page, you see these little, what's called spark lines. The spark lines are used to understand the pattern of expenditures and to dial in on what the expenditure budget should be in that next year. This process actually began a year ago when we started to have quarterly budget meetings with every department to look at what the FY25 budget was set out to be, and then each quarter what our performance was against that budget. And slowly over time, what we've done is we've dialed in to what true expenditures should be, and that reduces our need to go after revenues by making sure we have the exact, or as close as we can get to exact, amount of expenditures. The budget philosophy we use in Broadwater County has changed over the last couple of years. One aspect of the philosophy is that we use the previous year's market value and the previous year's mill value in order to generate property tax information. That isn't done by every county, but for us it's a conservative way of knowing for sure how many property tax dollars we have. We're not guessing how many property tax dollars are going to be in that subsequent year. The other main thing about our philosophy in budgeting is we are an expense-driven budget, in that we don't try to figure out how much money we can get and spend it. We try to figure out exactly how much money we need, get that, and deliver services. So we are expense generated. And even though we're not a zero-based budget, we get as close to zero-based budgeting as you can get because we're very strict about the expenditures that every department needs. The spreadsheet that's on the screen now represents all of those budgets, the detailed budgets, and then in gold you see on the left-hand side budgets where the county provides money for activities within the county that we don't directly oversee, but are county service related. It is a $10.2 million budget. That is down from last year. Last year's budget was $14.9 million. And the reason last year's budget was so high is we had a significant grant from FAA to improve the airport. And so this year, we are spending that money out. We are not expecting that as an expenditure to be carried into fiscal year 26, at least not too far into fiscal year 26. So that drops our budget 10.2 million. That is less than last year's budget, even if you take the airport out. It's less than last year's budget. 25% of our budget comes from floating mills. 75% comes from all other sources of revenue. And those other sources I'll show you here in a second. Try to bring this up a little bit bigger on the screen. Hope you can see that. So the major sources of revenue are floating mills, $2.5 million. Other source revenues, $5.5 million. We have $730,000 in permitted mills property tax. Those are mills that are either statutorily allowed or voted by the residents in Broadwater County. We have 7% of our budget is called entitlement share. That's money that we get from the state government to replace taxes that we used to have in the past. 1% of this budget comes from payment in lieu of taxes. That's federal source shared money for property taxes that the federal government does not pay. This year we are using $609,000 of general fund cash reserve. I'm happy to say, very happy to say, that is $274,000 less than we used last year. Last year we had $883,000 in cash from our cash reserve that we needed to balance our budget to meet all the expenditures. This year it's only $609,000. That is exactly the direction that we want to go this year. So all our expenses include a 2.5% cost of living adjustment, and I'll be giving you more detail next week as we have the open hearing on the budget on any of the details that you'd like to see. Do you have any questions on what I've presented so far?
Does anyone have questions?
I don't.
I don't have any questions. I really like the charts. I think that's great. I think that's helpful for any public that is interested in understanding how our budget is divided up. I think those types of charts are good.
Here's another chart I think you'd be interested in seeing. I'll try to get it precise. This is the breakdown of the budget for all of the departments that are over $100,000. At the top of this circle, you see this fuchsia color, it says other, $442,000. That's all of the other budgets. So every one of these budgets that has a slice of the pie has over $100,000. On the far right-hand side, the upper right-hand side, is public safety. Even with the failure of the voted levy for public safety, it's still a significant part of our budget. If you were to add that public safety along with legal services, which is about 6% of our budget, that represents, law enforcement, it represents 41% of the pie. On the lower right-hand side, solid waste is 11% of our budget. Public Works Road is 9%, and on. It goes on and on. So significant parts of our budget are public safety, public works, the commissioners, of course. In the commissioner's budget, my little budget's in there, our HR budget's in there. We have many things that are folded into the commissioner's budget. Then it goes down in size, clerk and recorded, facilities, finance and accounting, etc. So I'll give you more details on that next week. But going back to revenue sources, I think it's important for everybody to recognize that we are leveraging that 25% of the property taxes that is allowed in floating mills, we're leveraging that with 75% other funding. And I think that's excellent performance. I wish we had more property tax dollars, but I think we're being frugal, we're making best use of what we have, and we're leveraging it.
Thank you. Great job. I think we are doing. We've been very diligent about our budgeting process, and over the past 2 years have really refined how we're doing that. And I personally appreciate having the quarterly budget meetings with every department. The different commission liaisons to those departments attend all those budget meetings and are part of the process. And it is a very collaborative effort with the departments, but it really helps keep everything on track. Any comments from?
I have a question for
Please.
Mr. Jiraki. I don't have my budget information with me. But Bill, can you explain the amount that the county received over the year before from property taxes? People see all the new houses and they think we're getting a lot more than we are. And I can't remember what that number is at the top of my head. So can you explain that?
Yeah, I believe that the new property tax dollars we received in the budget was in the neighborhood of $179,000. And what happens is we have overall value in the county, that's $2.6 billion, $2.7 billion of value. From that value, we are allowed to assess taxes on a percentage of that value, which is, it depends on what type of property it is, but you have $2.6 billion, and what we can draw from all that value is about $2.5 million in floating mills. So it's a percentage of that overall property value. So even when we get new value into the county, it has to be extremely significant to push up that $2.6 billion. Last year we had $27 million in new value. Well, that's 1% of that $2.7 billion. So it really doesn't generate as much property taxes as people might expect. At the same time, many of our expenses in county government go up faster than the additional property tax dollars. Our personnel expenses, our health insurance expenses, everything that we buy goes up in cost. We have, in our budget, 39% of our budget is operation and maintenance related expenses. With inflation, that $4 million increases every year. 61% of our budget, $6 million is personnel cost. And when we give a 2.5 cost of living adjustment, it turns out to be a significant amount of money, much more than the increase in new property tax dollars that we get. So we're doing the best we can to scratch for other monies, whether it's intergovernmental resources from fed and state, grants, contracts, other levies that we're allowed to keep. We do the best we can to leverage that.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
My pleasure. You know what you need to do is you need to get a great big factory in the county.
Yes, yes we do.
Something big commercial property.
Yes we do. Less demand on services, more tax revenue. Agreed. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask the public if anybody here or online has any comments or thoughts they want to add or share. Please come on up to the podium. Or questions for Bill.
Once again, Craig Vietz, V-I-E-T-Z. No questions for Bill, but I was just wondering, will the county put that information on the website with the graphs and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So everybody can see it?
Yes, and we've been working on how to present that so it's digestible Because-
Maybe,
yeah.
I know I would get questions as well, and I would just like to be able to refer people.
Yes.
You know, thank you.
And I would add, oops. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I was gonna threaten the public with more presentation material. I just was able to get the budget numbers finished at 8 o'clock last night, so I've only been able to put together a couple of graphics this morning for a presentation, but we'll have much more next week.
Oh,
Looking forward to it.
And I was going to urge everybody to look every week at the MT43 news. Every department, not every, but if they want to put an article in, the newspaper saves room for the county. And there will be some tax information on there that's relatable and understandable.
For this week, you mean this coming week? Yeah. Yep. And because there have been updates and changes made after legislative session to how taxes are, the rate of on taxes classifications, particularly residential. All right, thank you. Are there any other comments, thoughts? Anyone? Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Jarocki.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to go ahead and move to the next agenda item. I'm going to close the regular meeting, and we will go ahead and open the public hearing. I believe Kevin is on. He is on. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and open the hearing for the Parks and Recreation Board Open Space Master Plan for Centerville Road and the Canton Lane properties. Kevin England is joining us. He's a planner from Great West Engineering who helped with the process. Go ahead, Kevin, if you'd like to lead off, or I can lead off. It's up to you.
Thanks. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Kevin England, A-N-G-L-A-N-D, with Great West Engineering. And we were contracted by the county beginning back in about October, November last year, to start drafting the open space plan for the Canton Lane property and the Centerville Road property that are both county owned. As most people know, the Rod and Gun Club exists already on the Canton Lane property, as does a ball field. And so this project was funded by the Broadwater County Trust Board, and we were able to get going, hit the ground running in November with our draft. Throughout the whole process, we had what I consider pretty extensive public outreach. I think we ran several different surveys. We held an in-person open house, a couple of online requests for feedback. We were able to get about 500 some odd comments on the draft plan once we moved it to the online format. And that seemed to work really well. And you guys were kind of our guinea pig, and now we're probably going to use that in other places because it worked so well. So I think throughout the whole course of this process, we were able to get a lot of very, very good feedback from all of the different user groups that might be involved in a lot of these properties and projects, mainly on the Canton Lane property. The Centerville, we got quite a bit of comments, but they seemed to kind of fall in line with what we had already proposed in our concept designs in the project. There's definitely a lot of big picture ideas that we understand might be not feasible at the moment, but we did include in the draft a good section that kind of summarized improvement costs, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands that mainly the public is a lot of those improvement costs that we put were based on research that we were able to find right now. There's going to be a lot of real world events that might impact those cost improvements down the line, as well as we could not really take into consideration any private organizations donating anything, just because we don't know if that would actually happen or not in the future. But all in all, I think it was a really good process. We worked with Al Christopherson. We tied in a little bit to the county trails plan that's being made. we added a little bit to as an appendice to this document that I think we just took kind of the introduction for the trails plan to make sure that they were connected, because a lot of the comments that we got were involving trails. And so we wanted to make sure that's those links, so then for future funding opportunities, there was a little bit of crossover, a couple different documents that could make the county a little bit more eligible for grant funding. But in the document, we were able to come up with a couple different concept designs that we presented to the public for feedback. And we do include all of them within the documents, but we had a couple clear winners that got the most positive feedback. So we have a pretty good idea right now of what the public wants. And I think that's something definitely to note for moving forward and looking for grant funding. So that's kind of the gist of the whole project. I thought it went very well. And so I'm interested to hear what the public has to say, if there is anybody there. Thanks, I can't see the crowd.
There's a huge crowd. There's like 100 people here. I'm just kidding, Kevin. Thank you so much. You guys are great to work with, as always, and all these things, we get a timeline and they always take a little bit longer. We did pivot a couple times, and I thought using the online format for feedback on the different concepts worked really well. Obviously, the board really got after it and pushed the survey hard in the community, so I was pretty happy that we got about 500 responses. I thought it was a great response. It was a lot. I think we received a lot more responses that way than an in-person design concept workshop, which we did initially, and then we kind of changed direction after the first one. So we do have some comments that were written. Director Brown, would you like to read those comments?
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to ask me?
Yeah, fair point. Is there any public comment from anyone here now or online that would like to talk about the master plan? Any concepts or thoughts? Mr. Christofferson?
Good morning. My name is Al Christofferson. That's CHRISTOPHERSEN. And I live at 41 Cactus Lane here in Townsend. Madam Chair, Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to be able to comment on the Broadwater County Parks Master Plan. And I appreciate the fact that Kevin's online today and stuff. First of all, I just want to say that from my perspective, appreciate the work and the thought and the community involvement that's gone into this. It's been, I think, well done, extensive, and you've worked hard to get the community involvement, and that's been good. I think the range of alternatives that you see in the plan is probably as broad as you can see, and I appreciate those all being in there, and as you move forward making decisions, I think it's parts and pieces, and however you do that. The one sport that I noticed in the write-up that didn't exist was lacrosse, and I just, that's not a biggie because lacrosse fits on basically a football field. It's a striping issue type thing, but and I don't know how much interest there is in Townsend right now, but that is a very fast-growing sport across the country, and a lot of schools are picking that up. I do want to comment specifically on map number 4 and number 9, which were the bike times to get to Centerville and Canton Lane. And both of those showed users from the west side and the north side of the Missouri River Bridge. And while I understand the ability to say it only takes so much time to get across there, The reality of that situation is nobody uses that bridge. And I shouldn't say nobody, but very few people use it. You don't see any young kids on there. You see a few bike tour people. They tend to lump up on one side and make a run across the bridge. Or they load up in town and go over to Cottonwood and unload and continue their route. And so while that's a valid display of information, I think at that point there needs to be in this plan a very strong comment about the safety issue of pedestrians and bicycle people crossing a 500-foot bridge with 60 to 65 mile an hour traffic. I know it's posted at 55. You all know how people drive across there. I've watched it. And I think 65 might be conservative for some people. They hit that 55 thing, see an open highway, and they punch it, and they're across there in no time. So I think it would be worthwhile to have some reference in this plan in discussing that use coming to the parks, as the reality is it's very, very limited, very restricted. And, you know, I don't think there's any parents out there who would send their kids across that bridge, let alone walk it themselves. It's only got about a 30-inch shoulder stripe on both sides. And if you want to walk on a 30-inch stripe highway with 65 mile an hour traffic within a couple feet of you, then have a good day. Not me. And the tie with that then is map number 7, which shows the crash history across or on the roads, specifically Centerville Road, and I understand that. That's where we're looking at the significant trail tie-in to that Centerville piece. But at the same time, it also showed the traffic accidents on the bridge. Bridge has quite a few accidents on it, if you look at the map. It does not show a single pedestrian bicycle type accident on the bridge. There's a good reason for that, and that's because there aren't anybody like that on the bridge. And so it creates kind of a false picture that it's somehow safe because there haven't been any of those accidents. The reason is because people don't cross that bridge. And I think it just needs to be clarified that would be the case. And I'll speak for a second from the Trails Committee standpoint. All of the work we have done trying to develop the trail systems across Broadwater County, that bridge is the break point in the county. It is the absolutely dead stop place where people won't go to cross that river on that bridge. And so all the ties that we can make in this plan and in the trails plan that's pending and will be coming to you here sometime, I think we really need to focus on highlighting the hazard with that bridge and the issue it creates to help us as we go down the road trying to get funding and support to go after a separate pedestrian bridge. So again, I appreciate the references in the Parkland plan to the fact that they have utilized the Trails Committee draft plans, and that the Trails Committee work is in there as a supporting and partner planning effort. And so I just think that the Trails Committee is strongly addressing those safety issues. We are also really trying to make sure we tie the use of the Centerville Trail system and the Canton Trail system to those parkland pieces. So they are the external routes that give us the access to those parcels. And for the most part, it's the access from the city. And so the city sidewalk trails plan that the Parks or the Trails Committee has put together lead to those connecting points where you leave the city and go on to county. So Canton Lane and North Harrison Avenue, 4th Street, and the street or the highway out here that goes to Indian Road Campground and the Centerville Road. So I appreciate all the work that this plan has put in there to try and tie these things together. I think it's critically important that the community understands the importance of tying these plans together. They are mutually supportive. We've had a lot of discussion, and the Park and Recs Board has been actively involved in all of the Trails Committee meetings, and we have been tried to be actively involved in most of the Park and Rec Board meetings, and certainly in commenting on the draft plans both ways. So with that, thank you. If you have any questions for me. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Al. Thanks for all your work, ongoing work with trails as well. Do we have any other public comment online or in person here? Anyone else? Okay, we can go ahead and read those. The comments, we did have some comments on the final master plan that was put out, which wasn't too drastically different than the draft. And we, like we said, we received quite a few comments on the draft, so.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director and Planner. I just have a handful of written comments here, and these, just to preface, these are not written comments on the entire plan. Broadwater County put out a request for public comments specific to this public hearing and the draft document. So what I'm reading into the record is not a compilation of all of the public comments received. This is solely the public comments that came in after the request for public comments on this public hearing was submitted. So I just want to be very clear on that. The first comment is from Trevor Reichert. He states, I live and work in Broadwater County. The cost of living here is getting far out of reach for those who are desperately trying to stay. This project and many of the other pie-in-the-sky ideas outlined in the Broadwater Growth Plan would eventually end up on the backs of the taxpayers. Grants would only be a small percentage of what is needed to complete and sustain such projects. This just isn't feasible. And my apologies, Madam Clerk and Recorder, Trevor Reichert, Trevor, last name Reichert, Reichert. The next comment is from Miss Carla Stevens, Carla Stevens, Stephen's. She states, great job on bringing this all together. I can tell that a lot of work and consideration has already been put into this. Thank you. Have you explored the CROC centers? And that's K-R-O-C, CROC centers. It may be a way to assist with funding. And she lists a website of croccenter.org, KROCCENTER.org. Third comment is from Stacy Sommer, STACYSOMMER. She states, I think I missed a few drafts because I have failed to see the request for a BMX track. We have seen requests over and over for more playing fields and playgrounds. You have failed to include these requests in your Centerville plan. Now let's talk about bathrooms. Your plan lacks the foresight to include basic needs like water fountains and bathrooms. If the recreation center isn't included, you have nowhere to go. The gun club should be moved. Why is our community paying for 2 locations and the possible contamination of the surface from lead? Next comment from Mary Ellen Schnur. Mary, M-A-R-Y, Ellen, E-L-L-E-N, Schnur, S-C-H-N-U-R. Very interesting reading. Anything that happens on Canton Lane will require all the various user groups to coordinate schedules. Appropriate scheduling will alleviate concerns about shooting and ball playing happening at the same time. Has anyone thought about replacing or remodeling the current swimming pool to make it an indoor pool? It is about at the end of its useful life. It is located within city limits and easily accessible by all forms of transportation, unlike the Centerville location. I'm kind of surprised this wasn't addressed in the planning. Cost of upgrading the current pool might be less than all new construction out of town. A joint city-county project? Because of financial constraints, these developments will be slow. Develop one site first, including improving safety of transportation routes to that site. The final written comment I have is from Miss Tracy Maughan, TraciMaughan. I'd like to address some of the concerns I read in the public comments regarding underutilization of our current recreational facilities. While some may claim these spaces aren't used enough to justify further investment, I respectfully disagree. In many cases, these observations may not reflect the actual day-to-day usage. For example, we have over 100 youth soccer players trying to share one small field. I've also been one of 15 women trying to squeeze into a group fitness room built to comfortably fit 10. These examples show that some of our facilities are not just being used, they're stretched beyond capacity. I suggest that the county publish actual usage data and participation numbers to help inform the community and counteract misconceptions. Transparent numbers could build greater buy-in for the recreation plan and help us make smart, future-focused decisions for growth and improvement. And Madam Chair, that concludes the list of written comments received.
Okay, thank you. Do either of you have additional comments?
I don't at this time.
Okay.
No. I just think it's important to note that this is a fluid document, that none of these are set in stone. It's just kind of a guiding document for us that will be reviewed year after year as we kind of progress through the progress of developing the sites.
Absolutely, which I was going to say the same thing. And it even states in here that the schedule of improvements needs reviewed. This needs adjusted on an annual basis. There's going to be changing availability of funds, maintenance needs, and other things. So it is something that's we'll have to be proactive with this document and looking at it. And these concepts are what came out of a lot of different concepts, different suggestions, different times. So that's why there wasn't just one concept for each property, because we don't know what's going to happen or what's going to be needed or what there's going to be funding for. So I think it really opens the door for the conversation, and you have to start planning at some point. I realize, people are stressed with taxes, and that's well known. We understand that. That's why you don't see a recreation district that is taxing people, which is what a lot of bigger areas do to pay for these kinds of things. So I guess I appreciate that there are members of the community that want to plan, that our board wants to plan, and to get something just started, because you got to start somewhere, and it's just going to take time. We know that, and it's a living, breathing document that's a guideline. Is there any other comment at all? If not, I will close the hearing. Any other comment? Okay, go ahead and close the hearing. Okay, we will reopen the regular meeting, and the last item on the agenda is discussion decision. Reopen. Discussion decision, Parks and Recreation Board Open Space Master Plan, Centerville Road and Canton Lane properties. Kevin England is still with us on Teams. Again, Kevin, thank you for your comments and for describing the process that we all went through. Do we have any comments on this?
I do.
No. Okay.
Kevin and Great West, thank you. You guys do a phenomenal job on everything you do for the county. Just want a couple of thoughts as everybody was talking, and I've been reviewing this. There is no funding in the county budget right now for this. There could be down the line. Who knows what's going to happen? This is not going to happen this year or next year. It's a start. But certainly we hope if things grow, it would create new departments, probably for maintenance or who knows. But I've been asked that a lot. Is there a line item for this? There's not right now. There could be. And the master plan, I've gone through a couple of these before I was a commissioner. It really is the first step to get grants, donations. It's your PR piece, if you will. It's what you put out there to educate somebody from wherever who's never even been to Broadwater County. It's an educational piece. So this is phenomenal to have this out. I know Al has worked on many master plans, and the Silos master plan was several years ago, and it's still a document that is referred to by the state, by other volunteer groups. So it has incredible value. And as Jesse's already said, who knows what the final plan could look like. It could be a mixture of these concepts together. It could be something totally new. but it's the first step in moving forward with it. So I appreciate all the feedback and everything from Great West.
I will second that. Absolutely. And again, I think you have to start somewhere. So kudos. You got to start somewhere. We all sit back and go, why the heck did that happen on whatever piece of property? What were they thinking? Well, there wasn't a requirement to have these types of plans years ago. Things were done, and that's just how it worked. Unfortunately, we do have to take the time. I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, we do have to take the time to lay this out, and this is what gets us funding when we go for grants. This is what they want to see, anyone who is providing funding. So, yeah, are there any other thoughts, comments to add? Okay. Is there a motion?
I'd move to approve the Parks and Recreation Board Open Space Master Plan for the Centerville Road and Canton Lane properties.
I will second that motion.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the Open Space Master Plan for Centerville Road and Canton Lane properties. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right. Thank you, Kevin, for taking time to be on.
Thank you all. It was an awesome process. Really enjoyed it.
Well, we appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll be in touch about something. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You too. Take care. All right. What we have left, some consent agenda items. We go ahead and do minutes. Let's see. Okay, we have minutes from June 18th.
I'd move to approve the minutes from June 18th.
And I will second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the minutes from June 18th. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, we have claims. 2 sets of claims today. First one is for $134,351.47.
I would move to approve the claims in the amount of $134,351.47.
I will second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve claims for $134,351.47. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Excuse me, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Excuse me. Next set of claims is for payroll. $292,728.35.
And I'm sorry, how many cents?
35.
35.
Excuse me.
I would move to approve the claims the amount of $292,728.35.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve claims for $292,728.35. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All All right, do we have any other comments on anything upcoming, not on the agenda?
Oh, the buildings are closed next Friday. That's what I was trying. 4th of July.
Perfect, thank you. If you weren't going to say it, I was going to.
Sorry.
Anything else? Okay,
Not for me.
all right, we will adjourn.